Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Angela!
Brandon.
How's your house remodel going?
Better than last time we talked. No, we've almost got a fully functioning kitchen again, so very exciting. Very excited to be in there. I actually put something on the grill and made a dinner the other evening. And
so you are kind of back into it.
Yeah, I was just like, oh.
That's good. That's good. I was listening to a previous podcast and we were talking about that in countertops and everything.
Yes, we do not have our countertops yet. That's going to be the last thing, and it's going to be a while.
Are you redoing your floors?
Oh, we gutted the entire thing. Everything.
So floors should be last, shouldn't they?
No, because the granite has to be ordered after they
Oh.
measure, and it's going to take like 2 weeks. So.
From Brazil.
From somewhere.
It may be. Brazilian granite's pretty common. Not that I know. All right, so that's not a segue at all. We're just giving you friendly updates here on the Engaging Life podcast. Hey, so this is something no one knows. We switched seats.
We did, and it's because of my hair.
Okay, did not have to disclose that, but yeah, no, it makes sense.
Did you know? Here's a fun fact. Not only was it that I looked at him and my hair was parted on the wrong side, so it would obscure my face. But did you know that most people part their hair naturally away from their good side to reveal the good side of their face?
I did not know that. I part mine.
It's kind of in the middle.
Is this my good? So.
Well, I think it means yours is down the middle.
I don't need to. I don't really need to part my hair. I do because it gives it character.
Well, it's not parted. It's right down the middle. So you think every side's your good side.
It is. Thank you. And if you want to see my good side, sign on to our YouTube channel, The Engaging Life, because we do this live on YouTube. Well, not live on YouTube, but we record this on YouTube. And then, of course, if you're listening, thank you. Hopefully you subscribed. We'll ask again at the end for subscriptions and everything. So this has, once again, nothing to do what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, let's talk about the topic today. So, Angela, if I'm correct, you hate answering the phone, right?
I do.
We've talked about this.
Not only answering the phone, but talking on the phone, even to people I like.
See,
I am an awkward phone talker. It seems like every time I'm on the phone, we're falling all over each other. I start talking, then they start. There's no good flow to it. There are many, many, many reasons why I don't like being on the phone. I don't like being put on the spot.
Yes.
I like to be able to think things through. So if somebody invites me somewhere and I don't really want to go and we're on the phone, I'm going to say yes, and then I have to get out of it later.
I always hate the people that put you in an awkward sales position. Like, when they're like, well, why don't you just sign up with this guy right here? And you're like, well, why did you not bring that up? That would be so much nicer.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the phone because I've had a couple different experiences with this, and I'll share the story that really has sparked this topic with me and the experience I had, because luckily for me, it was business to business. Like, I needed to talk to him for a networking thing. I think it was like in leadership. But all I could think of was, if you treated a client this way, I probably wouldn't use your service.
Okay.
And then you deal a lot with trades, right?
Yes.
And do you get the rough answer when you call people on the trades?
Oh, of course.
Hello.
Yeah.
What? I've had a what before. And this is like the number that was on their business card.
Ooh.
That I was calling. So here's what I'm getting at. We have a lot of opportunity with technology nowadays. Email and text message with internal business and everything, probably one of the most common ways to communicate. But people still call. Oh, it's weird.
They do.
People still call, and some people want that. For me, if it's something that I feel I need to over-explain, which shockers almost everything, I do like calling in and talking to somebody.
That makes sense.
I got anxiety when Amazon first came out, or maybe Google, and they're like, not first came out, but when it got popular, and they're like, no, there's no customer service. You just use it. And it's like, I think I had an eBay thing go wrong. I never used eBay since, and I tried a refund, and I never got it because I couldn't call anyone.
I'm the complete opposite. I will, if there are any other choices other than calling, I will do all of them. No matter how tedious or hard it is to go back and forth. I love the little pop-up chat.
I do love that. Yep, with our cable company here in town, I love because it's a lot faster.
And especially and hopefully I don't offend anyone here, but a lot of the times when you call customer service, the person who answers is difficult to understand.
Yes. Yep.
And it's a lot easier to communicate in a written.
That's true, because then accent doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So let me share the story. So I call this person. I need something. We're talking mid-afternoon, right? And I need something. And he answers the phone, and it was actually a nice answer because I have a whole other issue with how people answer the phone. But he was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, this is Brandon." He goes, "Oh, great. Can you hold on 1 second?" I'm like, "Sure." So he puts me on hold. 10 minutes later, he comes back.
Oh, you stayed?
Yeah, I needed to talk to him. And once again, this wasn't, and we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this in the podcast. But this wasn't that I needed service, but I needed him to do something. Like I had an action, a CTA, call to action for him. So I waited. And he comes back on the phone. And he's like, "Okay, what do you need?" Not a sorry about that or anything. It was just, "What do you need?"
Is this somebody you had never met before?
No, I knew him.
You did know him.
Yep,
Okay.
I did. Does that make a difference?
No, I was just asking for.
Okay, no. Yep, I did know him. I had worked with him face to face before, so this was like the first time.
Were you
that we were talking.
friends?
I would not put us in the friends category.
Colleague? Not quite there.
I was the director and he was on leadership, kind of. What would you categorize that as?
Colleague.
Colleague? Okay, we'll go with colleague. So it's not...
I'm the DJ, you're the rapper. That's what I was trying to come up with. And I kind of stopped. Isn't that Fresh Prince?
I don't know.
Wasn't that the name of their first album? He's the DJ and the
rapper?
rapper?
Oh, jeez. Well, DJ
Jazzy Jeff. Fresh Prince band, wasn't it? He's the DJ and the rapper.
I'll get
Somebody
this
check
one
that. Somebody check that for us.
Fact check that. And let us know in the comments.
How? Because it's very relevant.
Here we go. Anyways, so he comes back on. No, thank you. Just like, "Okay, what do you need?" And so I kind of explained it to him a little bit. And you could tell that he was still distracted. He was still doing something. So eventually he goes, "Hey, sorry, I'm at the bank." And all I'm thinking is like, you should have never answered this call.
Correct.
And when you did answer it, you shouldn't have put me on hold. You should have just said, "Can I call you back?" Correct. So I really reflected on this experience because I had enough, from the counter world, I had enough of I hated how people answered the phone. Like, when I feel that I am imposing on your time, you're hurting your business because that's how consumers feel now. That's how your customers feel as your first impression. So I just really thought about this a lot. And number one, I hope if you're listening, you're so excited to hear this. Just because we have cell phones does not mean you have to answer it if it rings. There, I said it.
He done said it from the horse's mouth.
Call me a horse. So it blows my mind. And I see the older generation having a bigger problem not answering the phone than the younger generation. Because I really feel the younger text message, right? Like, I'm not going to answer ever.
Right.
But I have seen in the older generation, like, people leave good events or, like, at a bad time to go answer their phone. And it's not an emergency. Like, you can tell as they're having the conversation, this wasn't you're waiting to hear back if your cancer results are negative or anything.
Right.
It was just, some random person called. And this is also...
And they feel the need to answer it and take themselves away from everyone who they're with in person, which then gives the impression that...
they don't care about
whoever else is on the other end of that phone is more important than whoever else they are currently with.
Right. So think about when you do this. Oh, I got another one too. But when you do this, what does it say to your client? Angela, you are in marketing, I believe, right?
I believe so.
Okay, good. Have you ever called someone, maybe a follow-up call, and they answer, and you're like, "Hi, this is Angela, the most coolest person in the world," and they go, "Hey, I'm in a meeting right now."
Yes.
Okay, don't answer the phone then. Be in the meeting.
All it tells me is they thought it was somebody more important than me. If it would have been, Tony Robbins calling, then they wouldn't have been. Or it means they didn't want to talk to me, and that's the best they can come up with at the time.
Now, coming from a sales background, that has never happened, ever. I've never been told they were in a meeting, and they've always called me back. That's a lie. That's a bull-faced lie, because it happens all the time. So that's my big thing on this, is we don't have to answer the phone, and I really do think it is hurting business. It is hurting business. And have a script for when you do answer the phone, and train your staff on this. I feel like I'm like summing it all up, but I have like a whole other list to go through, because my big thing is the phone call is a first impression, right?
Correct.
And gosh, even when you guys are getting deals in or getting activity to people's phones, do you ever have to coach the company on how to answer the phones?
We don't do a lot of that. Somebody should.
But yeah, starting a new business. I'll come and coach you on how to answer the phone because I think I do it well. So I have heard in the marketing world because I did some online training back in the day. But they would say if you're giving these leads to your worst salesperson, then yeah, these are what your results are going to be. But if you have a top salesperson and you're giving the leads to them, they're going to close them, and you're going to see our marketing improve. And I think that all comes down to this is the first impression. You could have the best reviews and the most beautiful ads ever, and if you call or if they call in and you answer with hello, I mean that's just instantly it makes me feel bad that I called.
Yeah.
It makes me feel bad that I called. So, what can you do? What can you do? Let's see. We talked about being on hold, right?
Yeah.
Call back. Oh, because I have a good example here.
Okay.
It's not what can you do yet. I'm going to give you one more example, and then we'll get into what can you do. So, Angela, we didn't talk about these questions before. How long will you wait on hold if somebody puts you on hold?
It depends.
Okay, this is not for your internet that's out at home. You're inquiring about new drapes for your house.
Okay. Well, this happened to me. It wasn't drapes. Maybe drapes. I was calling, and this is a conglomerate, so this isn't like a small business, which is kind of what we're focusing on right now, but it's a specific example, and it just happened. So
okay, yep.
I got free tickets to see a show at Harrah's Casino because I'm a big roller there.
Oh, are you?
High roller, big spender. I said big roller.
Well, yeah, because when you're
combination of the two.
Because you just put them together now.
And so the first time I called in, and of course I can't understand anything. First time I call in, it wasn't in my account yet.
Okay.
Which I got in the email with the offer code and everything. Not in my account yet. Call back in a couple days. Okay. Called back in a couple days. They still couldn't find it. And I'm like, is it still not in there? Should I call back in a couple more days? Or is there something wrong? I don't know. Call back in a couple more days. Okay. So I call back in a couple more days. And keep in mind, I had already gotten some other tickets.
Yeah.
And it went fine. I called in. Within 5 minutes, I had the tickets. So, and it took forever and ever. And then she's like, can I put you on hold? This was the third time she put me on hold.
Ooh.
And I had not realized that the call had been disconnected. And I sat there for at least 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh.
Because I wasn't going to hang up and start all over.
Right. Yep.
Because you have to give them like 10 verifications and I did not know it until the beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, how long have I been on the line? So I don't know if that really answers your question. But if I was calling in for a service.
Yes.
I would probably wait 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I was actually presenting on this the other day. I got like 30 seconds. I'm like, I don't ever want to work with you because I may do that to you. 5 minutes. Nobody really got to 10 minutes because I had not shared my story yet. I'm being on hold for 10 minutes. Okay, now, let's say you call, I answer, or no, I'm sorry. I call, you leave me a voicemail. How much time do you generally give me to call you back then?
Again, it's situational. If it's like, my plumbing's backing up.
It's not. No. It's not. Let's go back to the drapes, right?
I would say 2 days.
Wow. I'm a 24-hour. Like, if I don't hear back by 24 hours, if I call during the day at work, let's say, and I don't hear back by the end of my workday the next day, I will go pursue someone else.
Okay.
So, I will work with you any day.
Well, I'm a terrible voicemail returner.
So
I try to give...
Doing the platinum, or the golden rule on that one, right?
I do, yep.
So my point here is, if you pick up the phone and put people on hold, number one, you're not really giving a good first impression, and two, you have way less time than if you either let it go to voicemail, or I'm not opposed to a text message saying, I can't talk right now, I'll call you back.
Yes, okay? I like both of those much more than hold.
Right. So if people think that they always have to answer the phone the second it rings, you are more likely to be putting people on hold, or the experience I had, which I bet he didn't even realize what he did, because he was focused on whatever the heck he was doing at the bank. So you're losing credibility instantly.
And I have to say too, not only was it disrespectful to you, it was disrespectful to whoever he was working with at the bank.
Don't even get me started. But my mom is really good at being like, okay, I'm about to check out, I'll call you right back. Mm-hmm. Like, she won't stand on her phone, and I love her for that, because not a lot of people do that.
Well, here's a little Brene Brown story.
Ooh, we love Brene Brown.
I always have those in my back pocket. But she gave an example once of she was going through like a Burger King or some sort of drive-through to get a drink. And she was pulling up to the lady and her phone rang and she thought it might be her daughter's school because she was waiting for a call back.
Mm-hmm.
And so she answered it and it wasn't. And so she disconnected and she looked at the person that was giving her soda and said, I'm so sorry for that. I thought it might have been my daughter's school and there might have been an emergency. And the lady who was giving her soda, like her eyes welled up with tears and said, "You don't know how much that means to me. Most people treat us like we're not even here."
Yep. Yeah, blows my mind. And I mean, it's been a long time since I've worked in fast food, but I experienced it a little. Cell phone text messaging was like just becoming a thing when I was working, so a little different time. The cell phone world. Okay, so here's some tips and tricks. Number one, the easiest one. You don't always have to answer your phone when it rings. Please just make that a habit. I feel if you lose business because you didn't answer your phone, probably didn't want to work with them anyways because it's gonna suck from start to finish. Okay.
And I would like to say here, it's not just if you're not busy. If you're in a crap mood.
Oh.
And you know that you're going to be snippy or you're just not in the mood for it, or you know that you have to go somewhere in 2 minutes and you'll have to rush. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it might be better for it to go to voicemail. I love things going to voicemail because maybe they can identify where they're calling and I can start to formulate a response or get the information I need to get back to them. So
in countertop world, I was, commission sales. So I took every phone call whenever it came in. This is before spamming was as bad as what it is now. So I would take phone calls. Well, sometimes they were bad calls, right? Like a customer complaint or something happened at the office or something like that. So I finally set a rule. I would not take a phone call 30 minutes before my appointments. Because there was one time, I remember this, I couldn't give you the details, but I remember I took the phone call. A piece had cracked during the installation. And they installed it anyways. Not a great choice. And so I got the phone call of like, we have a cracked piece that's glued down. I went into that sales call and it was the hardest sales call I ever had because I felt like I was just lying to him the whole time. Oh yeah, super durable, great product, it's amazing. In the back of my head, I'm like, except for that piece that cracked.
Right. And then you were probably also trying to problem solve and all that stuff and worrying about it, so you were only kind of half there.
So I stopped taking phone calls. So once again, even if you can take it, but you're not in a good state of mind, don't take it. Don't take it. Because then, like you said, you can formulate, you can kind of rebound and re-go. Okay. The text or email back and saying, hey, I saw you called. I can't take a phone call right now. But here's the tricky one with that. If you make a commitment in those, you have to hold to your commitment.
Absolutely.
So the classic, hey, in a meeting, I'll call you back in 15 minutes.
You better do it.
2 days later, hey, sorry, the day got away from me and then I kind of forgot. And I've done that. I mean, I'm using an example that just happened to me, but I've done that to people too. So you have to formulate a process if you do this. So now remember, this is improving your credibility with your business partner, or this is improving your customer service to make the experience better. So if you formulate a process in there, maybe you set a reminder right out of the chute. And mind you, most of the time you're doing this, you're like, it's because you're doing something. But if you have some way to remind you to call that person back, however you responded, your credibility is going to shoot out of the roof. Because more or not, people don't call in time.
Correct.
So just like the story where she apologized and it meant so much, if you do call back in that 15 minutes, you stood out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is sad, isn't it?
It really is.
It really is.
You're giving so much value just by following through and doing what you said you were going to do.
Yep, it's pretty crazy.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy. Okay, and the last one is have somebody reach out on your behalf. And the first few times this happened to me, I hated it. And then I realized I'd rather have this than not hear back from the person I want to hear back from.
Right.
So if you have an assistant or a front desk person, at Green Transformations, we had a front desk person and they fielded
Yeah, that's correct.
a lot of the calls, right? And so it was convenient if I was going into an appointment, I would say, hey, will you reach out to so-and-so? It looks like they just called me and see what they need. Because if I know maybe they're looking to sign a contract pretty soon or they got installed a couple days ago, chances are they
didn't really need to talk to you.
No,
right.
It could be taken care of by someone else. But if it needed to be me, you better believe that the person on the calling on my behalf will say, and he will get a hold of you. So, having somebody do that for you, and if you want that best customer service. I think having somebody do that for you is that extra little touch.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if they do have a quick question that can just be taken care of really quick, that person more than likely can do it. And then boom, it's off your plate.
I like it.
Off your plate. So,
I like it.
once again, not a crazy topic, and it's super, super simple, but people mess it up all the time.
They do.
And I've experienced it personally. I've done it personally.
I have a question
Oh,
because
yes.
I know I do this, and I know I probably shouldn't, but I guess I'm hoping that you tell me it's okay.
Okay.
What if somebody calls me,
Okay.
leaves me a voicemail,
Yep.
and I text them back?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Oh, here's why. Power play. Platinum rule. Treat others the way they want to be treated. So I talked a lot about first impressions.
I think that's the opposite of that.
You do? Why?
Because if they called me, obviously their preferred mode of communication is calling.
Not necessarily. What if that's
And then I go against that and say, well, my preferred mode of conversation is texting.
Okay. Are you on a personal level or a business level with this question?
This would be a business level.
So I would.
I do it on a personal level too. But
Well, personal, that's a little different because
Right.
that could be skewed differently. I would never text a number on a business card because
no, I wouldn't either.
see, so they're calling you because if that's how they got the number, like if they searched you on the web, the interwebs, I wouldn't text that number because in my mind it's an office number.
It's an office number.
Right. But then if you text back and then if they shoot back, now they have that opportunity to text back and forth. And I see it a lot where consumers will originally call because they don't necessarily know what number it is. And then if you respond in text, back in my mortgage days, it's almost like that's the way we communicated then. Because that's what they wanted, but they made the phone call first. Now, personally, it can be different. It can absolutely be different because we all know the friend that you call and she just texts back. Yeah. And if you go check out YouTube, somebody's in the screen that does that. And once again, a friend that knows you would know that, right?
Yeah.
And wouldn't think twice. But if you have a new friendship, I love talking about new friendships, but if you have a new friendship and that really pisses them off, are they going to last very long? Probably not. So that's where I feel it is the platinum, well, I guess golden rule because that's how you want to be treated. But no, I think that is perfectly okay because it goes right back to if they call, you don't answer, and you send that instant auto back, like custom auto, hey, I'll call you back in 15. I think it's the same thing.
I've also done I get a call and a voicemail and I email them back.
Yeah, that's okay. If it's business, to me, if it's business, that's fine. And you would hope, I guess hope's not a plan. If you're good, no, that's very derogatory. For the most part, I feel if they needed a phone call, they would say, "Can we please have a conversation?"
Okay.
And then that case
What if
scenario,
they say, call me back, and you text them back or email them back?
okay, business-wise, you should probably, if you text them back, you should set up a time to have a call then. Because I am a huge fan of setting up a phone call.
I 100% agree because when you call somebody, to me, it's saying, this works for me.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't really care
Yep.
if this works on your time frame. Answer the phone right now and talk to me.
Yep. And you need to deal with my problem now.
Right.
And then I think business-wise, we get in the mindset where then we'll put them above our 7 other things that we need to do today.
Because it's the voice that's screaming the loudest.
Booyah! And then number
That's
7 didn't get taken care of, so it goes to the next day. Well, crap! Now that didn't get, now they're calling. So I, once again, your whole situation, you communicated back to the person. It doesn't matter if they left you a voicemail or not. You communicated back to them some form of communication. Because have you ever left a voicemail and no one ever called you back or emailed you or texted you?
Plenty of time.
Now that pisses me off.
That is.
And that is how you can take a scenario and make it bad. Make it bad. All right. Any other thought? I love that question. That was a very good point at the end there.
No, I think you covered it well.
Cool. Awesome. So once again, come and check out the YouTube channel. We love making these videos. We want you to be part of the family
Still trying
here.
to figure out where to look. So you see us looking at ourselves a lot instead of at the camera.
I don't know where to look ever. And let's see. Oh, and please subscribe. Right? We want subscribers. You can share this with all your friends that are getting into business or heavy into business. Or if you've ever gotten an answer when you've called somebody and this is your experience, send this one to them. Maybe they'll listen to it and nonchalantly realize they need the help. And then, of course, get reviews. Leave us a review, leave us a comment. We'll address those as they come in. All right. Well, we look forward to talking to you on the next podcast.